Now that we've finished the Ascendants in Navamsha, I thought it would be a great time now to reflect a little bit about how we can use our Navamsha to the best of our ability. Always remember, none of your charts define you. The reason why we love astrology is because we can have a say. We can use our free will. We can create things. We can decide either looking at the negative things, difficult things in our chart and just keep worrying about it. Or we can see it and actually think, you know what? I can make a difference. I don't need to be that person because I have awareness, I have knowledge, I have astrology, and I can strive to get the best out of it for me, for my future and people around me. So nothing defines you. Obviously, if you don't have the combinations to become a billionaire, you won't be a billionaire, but you can increase your wealth, you can increase your opportunities, you can have better relationships with everyone, and you can actually make yourself feel happier. So you hold that key. So don't feel as though you are completely within these charts, square chart, and this is it, this is me. It doesn't define you. But we realize with the Navamsha that there are certain ways of dealing with things which make things so much better. So for example, we realize that the third house of your Navamsha is a house which is how you communicate, you two, in a relationship, how you communicate, how you express yourself, how true you are to yourself, which in turn means how true you are to the relationship. So this is an important thing. So obviously Mercury is a third house ruler in the natural zodiac. So you want to make sure whenever you have difficulties in expressing yourself, you do an activity with your partner, because when you're in a car traveling to a place, that environment, the first, if you decide you're going for a day out somewhere and it's an hour away, the first 15 minutes you might be just chit-chatting, but after that you can start expressing yourself a little bit more in depth, because the thing is your partner can't really get out the car easily, so you have like captive audience. Use your intelligence, activate your Mercury and start talking about what you're saying. And every now and then, hold their hand, just kind of like a little bit of giving, a little bit of sympathy, compassion is really good. And it doesn't hurt anyone to say, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. I think it's a really good person who doesn't allow their pride and their, ego get in the way. If you're wrong, say it. I'm often wrong several times a day, and I'll tell you, I'm very happy to say I'm sorry. I used to have problems saying that. I don't do that anymore. I just say it because I think, it just humbles you, doesn't it? And makes the other person realise that you are human as well. So be true. Whenever you have issues in the relationships, talking, just do that. Just plan something. Use the opportunity when it arises. Never force anything. If the words are not coming out at that particular time, it's probably not a good time. Don't do it then. But I think when it's the right time, and just express yourself. The other thing is as well, a little bit of love and attention and care goes a really long way. I used to do this for my daughter when she used to go on school trips. I would literally put little notes in her socks, and in her pajamas and things like that. Just say, thinking about you, miss you, you are the best, you are my world. All these little messages on a little piece of paper. If you're making lunch for them, just put a little bit of love into it, because the more you express yourself that way, the more the person wants to give back to you as well. So do that. Do all these gorgeous things. And when they do something for you, actually say it, thank you, that made me feel good. Allow them to know how they made you feel, because particularly guys like to know that they're making their woman feel good. Do it. And the other thing, obviously, which is really, really important, I think as a couple, always plan things, always do things, as something to look forward to. It's okay having a weekend or one night of the weekend doing nothing and just chilling at home is good. But you don't always want to do that. You want to have some sort of variety and get out, enjoy life, experience things. We are not on this earth that long, really. So we want to just have wonderful experiences. Get out there and do things together. And all of those is memories, because I think as we all stuck on having the latest, believe me, you can't take your Gucci bag with you to the grave. But when you're ill and you're old and when you look after all the people, you realise that's where they remember those wonderful times. So yeah, express, make memories, and those memories are more important than possessions. And also the other thing is as well, it's really good to be active. When you're active and you're not constantly sitting down and eating, and yeah, that's really good, just getting because Mercury rules your third house, but it also rules your sixth house of digestion as well. And you want to be able to sort of like digest your food. And when people do that, when they have good habits, they digest life as well as food really well. So that is also, remember, sixth house is house of intelligence. Use it properly. And then we have the fifth house of Navamsha, which is so important. So this is a house that kind of like you're intelligent, because Leo is the natural fifth house of the zodiac, ruled by the sun. Any fifth house in your natal chart or your Navamsha, that's the intelligence within that. So intelligence within the person will be in their fifth house and fifth lord. And the same thing in your Navamsha. So when people have got harsh houses as their fifth house, for example, like Aries ascendant, they got fifth house Leo. So there's a bit of ego attached to that intelligence. It's like, it can be good, like I'm intelligently doing this, but you could just like, in a marriage, you kind of want to not have that ego, you don't want to be better than your partner. You are one. If you're knocking your partner, you're knocking yourself. No. That's not how it works. You both look after each other. You're one unit, you have each other's back, and you support one another through thick and thin. So this is why it's important. And third house is an important house. Fifth house is third from third, so third, fourth, fifth. So it's actually a very important house. So what you can do is, in this house, always arrange something fun, something to look forward to. We talked about that. Do that. And also, always consider the other person as well. By doing that, you've certainly put in a lot of sort of beauty into your marriage, and that will impact your children as well, because obviously your fifth house is house of children, it's house of romance. The more you put into your romance, the better your sex life. The more you put into the fifth house, the better your children. You're expanding, you are actually opening your heart chakra. So do that, all of those things are important. So also, you realise when you're actually watching the Navamsha series I just did, and actually it made me kind of reflect on all these kind of things as well, is when you actually get married or you're living with somebody, you're no longer just the two of you, you've got the two families as well. So you want to make sure you make time for everyone, for your children, to expand everything, and every now and then reflect, how is mum? How is my dad? How is the in-law? How are they doing? The brother-in-law, the sister-in-law, the more generosity you give time, and sometimes it's just a phone call or a note, that's just so pleasant, and getting everybody together and just showing appreciation that at the end of the day, we're all very lucky people, we have a safe home to live in, we have our health, so everything else is a real bonus. So thank you guys, thank you for supporting me, and my Patreon page will be up very soon, where I will teach astrology and to you at a really good price. And also for people who want to have daily fun, or well, maybe it will not be daily, but yeah, a bit of fun with astrology and just self-help and self-improvement things. And I'll do maybe some oracle cards as well. I don't know, I'm working on a lot of things at the moment. I'll see you soon. Look after yourselves. Bye bye.